Last time in the Immortal Hulk series right here at Comicstorian. Bruce Banner was revived from the dead after being killed in Civil War II, but his new version of the Hulk was interesting. You see, during the day he could be Bruce Banner, but even if he died, at night or upon his death, Devil Hulk would rise. He's a much more intelligent and very ill-intentioned version of the Hulk, and the two of them battled against an unknown enemy until the Green Door was opened. The Green Door led to a hellscape where Bruce Banner met his own father, who acted as the emissary for the one below all. Bruce Banner and Devil Hulk got out of this hellscape, freeing themselves and returning to the surface worlds, where Bruce Banner then reached out to Betty, his former wife. And that is where we left off with the Immortal Hulk storyline. This is the Comicstorian channel, where we take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues, where we take some of your favorite video games and movies and we break them down into audio dramas. And you know who else does audio dramas? Today's sponsor, because today's video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is the best way to discover and listen to the largest selection of audiobooks available. Audible is perfect for listening to an audiobook during your commute to work, when you work out, or when you're traveling and have some downtime. Audible has the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet and has amazing Audible member benefits like getting a new free audiobook on a monthly basis. If you go to www.audible.com/comicstorian, or if you text Comicstorian to 500 you'll get a free audiobook, 2 Audible originals, and a free 30-day free trial. Audible's content includes an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, and more. Recently, I got Star Wars Master and Apprentice as my free audiobook of the month, and I have really been enjoying it. Start listening with a 30-day Audible trial in your first audiobook, plus 2 Audible originals for free. Visit audible.com/comicstorian or text Comicstorian to 500. Now let's begin Immortal Hulk, issue 14, 15, and 16. His third gravestone was at West Point. The first was a family plot in New Hampshire where the body had already been stolen. The second, well, that was Arlington. Body was also removed. Even though he was a traitor, he did die an ex-Avenger, a servant of the government and an established figure, pardoned and forgiven, worthy of a hero's grave, hence West Point. Betty wondered which one they really thought they were burying that day. The hero? The monster? Or was Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross both? This is what she wondered when she saw her father, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, buried for the 3rd time. Steve Rogers himself could not attend the service, but Tony Stark spoke in his place to speak for the costume. And when he was done with the eulogy, he asked if anyone else had anything they'd like to share. There was one man who came forward, Reginald, 14. He told everyone that General Ross was like a father to him. Just as he stared at Betty. He spoke that General Ross had taught him many things, how to carry oneself with authority, to have confidence in one's abilities, that you cannot give no quarter to the forces of chaos that would disrupt the status quo, that there would be no harboring them in our homes or in our hearts. As General Ross was placed into the ground, 14 was given the flag, and Betty mutters under her breath that they shouldn't have had it out in the rain like that. Tony asks, "Do you know?" And Betty tells him that they've met. Tony then says that he knows that this is hard, but this whole business with Bruce, what happened in Iowa was a mess. If Bruce had just kept his head down, they could have worked it out. The Avengers aren't the bad guys here. Bruce can't keep running forever, even with the Hulk on his side. He needs to come in. Betty doesn't answer, and Tony offers her a ride to the airport. He got this plane that can turn into a robot, and she tells him, yeah, he's also a flying death ray that blew up a town. She'll fly coach. And she did. And when she got home, she already knew what was waiting for her. Bruce stands up from the stoop, stating that he's sorry about her father. He's also sorry that it took him so long to call her. For months, she thought that he was dead, like really dead. Months of sightings, false hopes, and grief. Part of her wanted to slap him, and another part knew better and kissed him. She whispered that they're not safe here, though, to which she was correct. While Bruce and Betty were having their long-awaited meeting, Agent Burbank is just across the way, lining up his sights. Burbank reports that he has the shot, but it's not a clear one. Permission to put one through Mrs. Banner's back and finish this. 14 tells him that that's a negative. They just buried her father today. The man meant a great deal to him. He will not send his daughter to join him unless he has to. Bruce and Betty head inside and Burbank switches to thermal, but reports that he can't tell which is which. 14 tells him to stand down. The sun's gone down but that's when there's a click as the trigger is pulled, and there's a sklunch as the bullet slams into the side of Benny Banner's head. Burbank radios back that he has a problem. He hit the wrong one, but he can handle it. Swapping out for 1,000 call. Stand by. The Hulk screams as he charges at Burbank, and with one shot, Burbank blows up part of the Hulk's head. The Hulk slowly reaches out for Burbank, and just then, a voice tells Burbank, "At ease, soldier." Next, a hand grabs him by the shoulder, tossing him back. The Hulk growls, and the man says that Betty called. Said that he might be in trouble. But if the Hulk could try and stay calm, they can get through this. Trust me, I'm your doctor. Now try and stay calm. There are many questions that need answering, and Doc Samson is being truthful, because there are questions as to how he even got there. He sacrificed himself in order to save Bruce once before, but then there was a green door that opened up, and the next thing that he knew, he was crawling out of a grave. S.H.I.E.L.D. thought that it could be the leader again, but the test showed that Doc Samson was free of the leader's influence. They have no idea what the green door is. Fury looked over his file and came up empty-handed as well, and he just chalked it up to, guess that happens sometimes to heroes. As far as Samson knew, though, Amadeus Cho had drained Bruce of his gamma energy. But when the news broke out that there was a Hulk sighting, he knew that he should reach out to Betty and confirm it. Which brings him here today, now with a black eye. Samson spits blood out of his mouth, telling the Hulk, "All right, let's reason this out, shall we?" The Hulk shouts, swinging wildly, and Samson jumps over him, telling him, "There's a lot of irony here. I've been trying to reach your mind, but it has to grow back first, doesn't it? Whatever the cyborg assassin shot you with, it made my therapeutic approach somewhat impossible." The Hulk grabs Samson by his arm, slamming him into the ground, shouting, "Smash! Hulk, smash! Smash green hair!" But before the Hulk can punch him again, Samson catches his breath, telling him, "Samson, Leonard Samson, you know me. I'm your therapist and you're acting out. You are smarter than this." As the Hulk's brain starts to grow back, he slows down. "Sam, son." And Samson tells him, "That's right. Remember who you are. Remember where you are. Betty's place, remember? Where's Betty?" The Hulk looks back, telling him, "Betty, the plastic man, he hurt Betty. Hulk has to." And Samson asks, "Wait, what happened? What happened to Betty, Hulk?" As the last bits of his head heals, he turns back, telling him, "She was shot. That's what happened. Through the head. Sniper fire from the cyborg. Now he's gone. Are you happy?" The two head back into Betty's house, and as Samson looks at the blood on the ground, he asks, "Where's her body, Hulk?" The Hulk points to a giant hole in the wall. "My guess is that she went that way while we were busy. I knew Banner seeing Betty was a bad idea." Samson then asks, "So what is the relationship between you and Banner, Hulk?" "I hear stories." Hulk rubs his head, telling him, "We don't talk much. Not in words, at least. Banner's life was crazy, and it got much worse since I was gone. Nobody saw. Nobody wanted to. But Banner was so broken that he set up his own murder. All that did was break him even more. Then there was a Hulk that came out to work for Hydra. Big ball of rage and nothing else. Wordless thing that didn't care who it hurt. But it was taken care of. That thing's in pieces, locked away somewhere. As long as I'm around, that thing is never getting out. First thing I did when Banner let me loose, somebody has to take charge." Samson asks, "What does that make you? Which Hulk are you?" Hulk turns away, not answering. But he tells him, "Banner needed a dad, or something like that. A dad who loved him, but he didn't know what love was. I can't be out during the day, and I don't come out unless I have to. Unless somebody hurts Banner. And when somebody hurts Banner, I take it personally." Samson follows behind him, telling him, "All this talk of letting loose and being locked away. Bruce mentioned a persona like that once. A Hulk that he had to actively lock away in his mind. A Devil Hulk. A Hulk who, if ever got out, would be the end of the world. Tony Stark told me about when you fought, and the name that you responded to. Are you the Devil Hulk?" Hulk gets ready to jump, asking, "You just figured that out, huh? Well, come on if you're coming. We gotta be somewhere." Samson jumps on just behind the Hulk, telling him, "I'm glad that the world's still intact." And Hulk stops him, telling him, "Actually, that's exactly what I'm here to do. The human world needs to go. Let's start with the nukes. The president can end all life in minutes, and the whole world is designed to make it that easy. But maybe it won't happen. Maybe it won't even matter. The planet's already boiling over to death. Wildfires, hurricanes, whole chunks of the food chain are dying off. Every time you hear about it, it gets worse. Less time, less hope. But the humans in charge pretend they don't even believe it. So you wonder why I'm angry? You want to know why I want to end the human world, Samson? Because if I do, maybe some of them will live. As the two land in the cemetery, Samson asks, "Is this where Betty went? Is she even alive?" And the Hulk responds, "Of course she is. Just think about it. Banner watched you die and here you are. You're part of the club, just like Betty. You, her, me, and him." Hulk points at the grave and Samson says, "Oh, why does this keep happening to them? Why are they still here?" And the two look down at the empty grave of Rick Jones and the Hulk tells him, "Don't ask me." The next day, the sun is setting in New Mexico and Bruce says, "Here." Samson lands with a loud thump and he asks if this is the spot, and Bruce goes on telling him, "It's the tunnel that the Hulk dug. It's where the government brought him after Iowa." So Samson asks, "Are you sure that this is where they brought Rick's corpse?" And Bruce tells him, "Yeah. It fits the facts as we know them. Rick's body was exhumed by a literal Men in Black. We gotta save Rick." Samson then asks, "What about Betty? Doesn't she need us too? She was shot dead, and then she got up again and smashed through a wall. Look, we've been traveling all day. Not to push, but we just need to stop and talk for a few moments, Bruce." But Bruce looks over at the setting sun, telling him, "I'm sorry, but we're out of time for this session." He begins to change into the Hulk, and then the Hulk asks, "What's with the face, Samson?" Samson looks away, telling him, "Nothing. I don't suppose you can tell me what happened here." The Hulk looks down at the hole and he tells him, "I hate a guy. He was annoying. Are we doing this or what?" Once the two go down below, the Hulk sifts through the wreckage, and Samson then asks, "You think they brought Rick here?" And the Hulk tells him, "No, but we're gonna find something though. With me on the loose, they're gonna want to leave in a hurry." Hulk then stops to sniff the air, and he tells him, "I smell some gamma." He rips back the door and the two look inside, and Samson says, "Left something behind. You meant clues." Hulk readies himself looking at the big gamma-infused beast, telling him, "Sure, these are my kind of clues." Meanwhile, elsewhere, Dr. McGowan looks down at the thing on the table, telling everyone that the cocoon stage is almost complete, General 14. She then quietly says, "I'm sorry, Jones. I'm really sorry." 14 looks at his tablet, telling McGowan to keep things professional. 14 then looks at the security feed from the shadow base the Hulk is fighting in, and he tells him, "Good. Spring the trap on my signal." Back over in California at Betty's destroyed home, the detective tells Jackie McGee that this is officially a missing persons case. And Jackie asks, "Unofficially?" The detective tells her that the forensics team found blood, bone fragments, and brain matter. Somebody died in that house before it got smashed, judging by the spatter. Jackie then asks, "Do you think the Hulk did this?" And the detective tells her, "No, but we found the bullet. But whatever brought that wall down left behind this." The detective pulls out a bag with a large red feather, and Jackie asks, "What is it?" The detective tells her that he's not sure. Right now, she's the Hulk expert. What kind of Hulk leaves feathers behind? Up in a tree, Betty is perched, watching. Back at the underground lab, the Hulk rips and tears his way through the gamma beasts, and Samson then tells him, "You really like doing that, huh?" Hulk stops. "Yeah, I really did. And that ain't good." Samson tells him, "No, it's not. It's not healthy. I've been waiting for you to realize that." But the Hulk snaps at him. "Shut up! It's not like that. What shadow base lets bioweapons have free range? They set them loose so that I'd have something to fight. Keeps me happy. Keeps me distracted." Just then, dozens of lights turn on and the Hulk screams as he reverts back to Bruce. Bruce looks around asking, "I'm awake, but it's nighttime." Burbank walks up, changing his arm into a gun, telling them, "UV radiation mixed with visible light. We call them solar emitters. Got the idea from Iowa." He opens fire, shooting Samson in the head, and then he changes his hand into a pistol, shooting Bruce in the stomach. Bruce runs over and Burbank continues to fire, telling him, "I know what 14's gonna say. Agent Burbank, don't play with their food." Burbank shouts to laugh, shouting, "Bruce Banner is here!" And Bruce Banner is going to die nice and slow. Bruce turns the corner, catching his breath, and as he waits, he laughs to himself. "Bruce Banner, I got some news for you, big shot. I ain't Bruce Banner." And that brings us to the conclusion of issue 16. Now, the Immortal Hulk storyline is pretty much a never-ending storyline. There is no definitive conclusions to the arcs. The first half was issues 1 through 13, and that had its own kind of conclusion to the overarching storyline, and this one is just as long. So we're breaking it down into 2 to 3 issue storylines to let you know what is happening. So if you want to know what's happening next in this storyline, subscribe to the channel as we kind of catch you up on the Hulk storylines at a relatively quick pace. You can subscribe, turn on that bell, get the notifications, give this video a like, and if you really want to help me out, please, I really do ask you to join me over on Twitter and follow me at Comicstorian. It'll do a lot of things for us if you could do that. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to go check out today's sponsor, Audible. If you like the style that we bring our stories to you, then it's kind of like a no-brainer to go check out Audible. And if you're going to go check out Audible, don't forget to go to audible.com/comicstorian or text Comicstorian to 500-500 and you'll get a free audiobook. You can find a lot better presentations than what I do here. I'm not a professional, but those guys are. Thank you for your support. Check out the sponsor, and I'll see you guys next time right here.